Let's understand the language of chemistry. What do they mean? Think of where you might have seen these symbols outside of the classroom. Today, you will represent elements using chemical symbols. Understand the basics of IUPAC nomenclature in naming compounds. Use chemical formulae to represent compounds.
Did you know?
Swedish scientist Jöns Jacob Berzelius introduced the modern system of chemical symbols. He represented the elements using one or two letters from their Latin names. Chemical symbols. These are shorthand ways to represent elements in chemistry. Recall that an element cannot be broken down into simpler substances. Remember, always each symbol is made up of one or two letters. And always capitalize the first letter. Importance of chemical symbols. They provide standardized ways of representing elements, making communicating information about elements and compounds easier. They offer a concise and simple way to represent elements in chemical equations, eliminating the need to spell each element's name. Common chemical symbols. Hydrogen, derived from the Greek hydro and genes, which means water forming. Most abundant element in the universe. Oxygen. Name comes from the Greek oxy and genes, which means acid forming. Essential for life.
Carbon,
Derived from the Latin carbo, meaning charcoal. Found in all known life forms. Nitrogen. Comes from the Greek nitron and genes, meaning niter forming. Constitutes about 78% of Earth's atmosphere.
sodium,
Derived from the Latin natrium. Soft metal that easily tarnishes when exposed to air.
chlorine,
Name derived from the Greek chloros, which means greenish yellow. Widely used in disinfectants and cleaning products. How many elements can you recognize from the chemical symbols below? Name as many as you can with the help of your peer. You did a great job. Elements are often named based on their characteristics, the substances they were extracted from, how they were found, mythological beings, locations, or notable individuals. The periodic table of elements. There are 118 chemical elements listed in the periodic table in a specific order. Rules on how to name new elements in the periodic table are set up by the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, IUPAC. The role of IUPAC. IUPAC is responsible for establishing unambiguous and consistent naming systems, also known as nomenclature, and terminology. It has a system for naming chemical compounds that provides a standard language for scientists worldwide. Naming compounds. A compound is a substance containing two or more elements that are chemically bonded. A chemical formula is an expression showing the elements in a compound and their relative proportions. It contains a combination of chemical symbols and numbers. Naming compounds. Carbon dioxide is a compound of carbon and oxygen, where one carbon atom and two oxygen atoms are combined to form carbon dioxide compound. Shown below is the molecular model of carbon dioxide. Naming ionic compounds. An ionic compound is composed of a metal and nonmetal. Some of the basic rules when naming ionic compounds include: a metal will always come first in a chemical formula, followed by a nonmetal. Example, sodium chloride and ACl. An ionic compound with two elements will have a name that ends with "ide." Example, copper sulfide, CuS. A compound with three elements, including oxygen, will have a name that ends with "ate" or "ite." Example, sodium sulfate and ASO4. Naming covalent compounds. A covalent compound has two or more nonmetals. Some of the general rules when naming covalent compounds are: the nonmetal furthest to the left on the periodic table comes first. Example, carbon dioxide, CO2. A covalent compound with two elements will have a name that ends with "ide." Example, sulfur dioxide, SO2. Use the prefixes mono, di, tri, tetra to indicate the number of that element in the molecule. Example, carbon tetrachloride, CCl4. Naming covalent compounds. Remember that many covalent compounds have common names that are widely accepted: water, ammonia, and methane. Identify the correct chemical formulae for the following compounds. Comment how many compound formulae corrected your own. Great job! Let's review the concept. Chemical symbols. These are shorthand ways to represent elements in chemistry. Each symbol is made up of 1 or 2 letters, with the first letter always capitalized. IUPAC nomenclature. IUPAC is responsible for setting up a system of naming elements and compounds, providing a standard language for scientists worldwide. Naming compounds. Compounds are represented by chemical formulae, which use symbols and subscripts. IUPAC sets rules for naming compounds correctly. Finally, chemical formulae hunt. Identify and record the chemical formulae, common names, and corresponding IUPAC names for 5 common compounds found at home. And comment below what you find at home.
Hope you understand the concept. Did you find this video helpful? Then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Blackboard for more easy and fun science lessons. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a new class. Thank you for listening.